All right, I'm on the Oasis. It's a hole 1. It's a par 5. And let's take a look at this hole here. If we're playing from the rookie tees, kind of draw some lines here. Here's the tee box. Your first option is to go straight out here. That's A. And your second option is to go like this. That would be B. There is a max overpower hook shot where you can try and get yourself over to here. That would be C. C is tough. I've done this shot I don't know how many times trying to roll over to this side over here, and I've made it a few times, but more often than not I'm caught up in the rough. And I'm coming at the hole from the rough. And you can bring good clubs for that, but you're still caught up in the rough. This shot out here, and Ricky especially, you got a pretty easy shot getting out here, and you got a really nice clean shot coming into the green where you can roll it up. So shot A is a super good viable option when you're in rookie. When you're in pro and expert, when you're playing from the back tees, when you're playing from the second tee back here, this becomes a little more problematic because of where your red line landing area is out here with your bigger clubs. You're going to have to bring a big club, and you're going to have to bring a big ball in order to get up. And typically in tournaments, they'll give us a wind that'll be running contrary to where, where we can pick up some of that wind to help get us over. But it's also putting on side wind, and where we're coming through right here, it's really narrow. So if you get your trajectory off just a little bit, you end up caught in the rough here, or you end up caught in the rough over here, and you're sunk if you're in the rough. So if you're in the rough or the sand over on this area, you're in trouble. If you're right off the tip over here, you got a shot, but there's only a small area. If you come out into this area and you're in trouble, you can still get on because you got a lot more green out here to work with. So you can try and run it up the green, and you've got stuff that can help you. The curling shot where you're coming from here and you're bringing it over. Obviously, the closer you can get up here. Once you get up here, you have some options. You have 3 different ways that you can kind of come at the hole depending on your clubs. So if you've got lower developed clubs, well, I guess it really doesn't matter. Any way you look at it, you can come at it this way, you can come at it this way, or you can try and do a rough bump right here. Now, with upper developed clubs, you may be able to come in here with a Guardian and try and backspin it into the hole. So that is an option. And what you can do on this shot, I think in the video I brought a sniper, so I did a rough bump here with a sniper. But if you brought a Guardian, you could still do that same rough bump. However, I think I had to put a lot of topspin on there in order to get to the hole. And I don't think you're going to get enough topspin with a Guardian. So if you commit to a Guardian, then you're committing to a backspin shot. If you're bringing a sniper, you're probably better served doing the rough bump. Your sniper would probably work better if you came at it from the side. Because if you come at it from the side, so if you're out in this area and you're trying to bring it around like this, you don't feel comfortable, or the wind's not blowing right and this is too difficult of a shot, or you didn't bring your Guardian and you can't do the shot here and the wind's blowing the wrong way, and the rough bump's too tricky, and you're coming at it from either one of these directions, sniper is definitely going to be the sniper, Viper, something that's got a little better ball guide and something that's got a lot of curl so that you can try and bring it around. Hopefully you'd have a side spin ball. That'll help you. So if you're hitting out into this area, I think in the video I brought a Kingmaker, and I brought a Kingmaker for several reasons. Number one, the shot to get over to here requires every bit of curl that you have, and so lots of side spin to get me here. Then the shot into the green, it's knocking down the wind, and it's power 3 ball, so it's getting me more up into the range. So let's watch the video here and see what happens on this particular hole. So this is the Oasis. Hole 1, par 5. Practicing for the Coastal Classic, and this is the only hole that I hadn't played, and I've been playing it and playing it and playing it, and finally just jumped on, and it was the first hole I caught. So my opponent's also trying the way to the right. So when you're in rookie, getting over to here is not really that hard of a deal. It becomes much more difficult to get through here when you're from the second tees, either from pro or from expert. And expert's going to be a lot tougher just because of the strength of the wind. Now this works really, really well with a club that has lots of curl. So like if you've got maxed out clubs like a maxed out rock, a quarterback, your apocalypse, something that's got lots of curl, but you're going to have to establish how much topspin to put on so that you don't end up in trouble at the end of the run. So this is the first time I've tried this shot for the week, just to kind of give me an idea. What I was really looking for right here was I was looking to see if in my fourth bag, because it's in that bag, if I put a quarterback in there, if I'd put in a guardian. Because I really wanted to come at it with a guardian to see what kind of range I had, whether or not the guardian had enough backspin. Because the rough bump shot up there is very, very tricky. It's best to do that rough bump when you have side spin or side wind, because that way you're always staying in the rough. And if you over or under adjust, you're still going to be in the rough. When you have tailwind and headwind, and you actually have to pull off of that rough, you could actually end up blowing that shot. So just trying to get up into the front of that landing zone. And let's go back here real quick. I'll speed it back up to that point. Let me go back to the point where I've got it lined up. So in this spot right here, I've got my blue ring off, because I'm going to use a lot of curl. And I can't do it. So my blue ring is off over here from the rough to the fairway transition, because I know I'm going to use max curl on the club. And I'm always at least 2 rings, so I'm always at least on the edge of my orange ring. But whenever I have to do curl, I try and be no less than 2.5, but usually about 3 rings, somewhere in that neighborhood off, so that I can give myself room for the curl to become effective. And I'm going to put on maximum. So when I'm trying to set these shots up, instead of going, okay, I'm going to have to use half curl, it's hard to judge half curl. One time you get half curl perfect, and the next time you're a little short of half curl, and the next time you're a little long of half curl, and so it's a variable. So if I can set one of these shots up and I can use maximum curl, and that means when I come to the hole, I set it off 3 rings from the fringe, and then I just use max curl, and it goes right to the same spot. If I hit it on the inside, I got plenty of room. That's why I left myself 3 rings off. If I hit it to the outside, I still got plenty of room out on the other end, and so it makes that shot a lot easier. So that's why I'm setting it up like I'm setting it up. I want to look at the top spin that I used here. And I have to go back just a titch. I used a little less than max top spin. All right, we'll go back to where I'm shooting the shot to the green. There we go. And we'll watch my opponent come in. They're a little bit further back. So if you find yourself further back where you didn't catch all the distance that you need, having a wood that you can do, this Cataclysm's hitting 180, 175, a little too, 180, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if you had an upper developed sniper, you could probably get to the same distance. I would go further to the left. And if I had a quasar like that, I would utilize the side spin of a quasar, and I would put on maximum side spin to the left, and I'd go to the right, and then I would move the ball as far to the left as I could to try and bring it back over towards the hole to try and avoid that sand trap. I'm not a big fan of hitting over those things if I can help it. I mean, I'm going to have to hit over it here for the rough bump, but when you're coming at it from an angle like that and you're trying to finesse it in, it's always good to try and take those traps out. I'm trying to take the trap out here by hitting in front of the trap, and with the wind that I have, it's a side wind. I'll be able to adjust it, and even if I make the wrong adjustment, let's see what my top spin was here. See if we could use and we might be able to get away with a guardian. So I'm using about what a level 7 guardian's got, level 6, level 5 guardian's got, like just a little bit over 2. I'm doing a full wind adjustment, 2.7. But pretty much anywhere I hit it here, if I hit it great to the left or right, because the wind's going to the side, and I hit it great to the right, and in the hole. Now if I analyze that though, on that wind adjustment, I hit it great to the right and it went in the hole. And I made a full wind adjustment, and so I actually over pulled it. So what that tells me is that I was probably in like mid club, and instead of doing a 2.5 wind adjustment, I probably should have just did a 2-ring adjustment. And so there is some type of an adjustment that's down there. It's either because we're in minimum or mid club, or the green is in an uphill situation from where we're at, and maybe we're taking off 10% of the wind. So there is some type of an adjustment that's down there that we're going to need to make in order to make that shot happen over and over again. All right, that was hole number 1 of the Oasis. Thanks for watching.